Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jody Pollock Newsom and I'm your host. We have a great show lined up for you this morning. This morning we're going to talk about the program for Ag and Natural Resources at Michigan State University, March 2 through 9. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned. Good morning, and again, welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I don't know about you, but it just doesn't seem like it's possible for it to be time for A&R Week again. A&R Week is coming up at Michigan State University, Ag and Natural Resources Week, a great opportunity to get out there, learn more about Michigan agriculture, and really celebrate the diversity of agriculture that we have here in our state. The show this morning is going to focus on some of those topics that they're going to talk about. We're going to give you a little bit of information, and then I'll let you know what's coming and tell you how to find out more about A&R Week. A&R Week, again, happens every year at Michigan State, and a whole guide of events and activities, everything from a rabbit show to cheese making classes to wildflowers. There's some opportunities to learn more about birds when you're looking at bird watching. And we're also going to talk this morning about beekeeping, and we're going to talk about farmers markets. So lots of really good information at A&R Week. My first guest this morning is Eileen Gianotis. She works at Michigan State, and she's going to help give us a broad overview of some of the programs and some of the activities that are going to be going on at MSU. Then my next guest is Drew Montry, and we're going to talk a little bit about farmers markets. You know, they've really cropped up all over the state. So we're going to talk a little bit about the growth of that industry and really how that's taken off. And then a little bit about the workshop coming up that's kind of like their annual meeting, if you will, and some of the programs there. There's a lot of interest in adding some of those farmers markets, a lot of interest in how communities can get together, how they can start their own. So we're really going to walk through the different programs that are going to happen, what you can do, and also how you can get involved in farmers markets. Then I also have with me Dave Anthony. He is a longtime beekeeper, and we are certainly going to talk about the bee industry. When we look at bees in the state, extremely beneficial, especially when we look at all the fruit crops that we have. We definitely need them for pollination, and there have been some severe challenges in the state and across the nation looking at the bees and the bee population. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to talk about some programs that are going on to really help raise awareness, and especially with some of the kids, to increase the amount of bees that we have right here in our state to make sure we have enough bees around to be able to do the pollination of the crop. So very, very important industry in the state, and very much a tool that we need to have here when we look at the bee industry. Then I will be back with Eileen Gianotis, and we are going to use honey, building off that bee theme, to make a blueberry pie. Certainly honey is very easy to substitute in, so we're going to share that recipe with you and give you a little bit more information, and we're really going to try to make sure you know what's going on at A&R Week and that you can visit us and learn a little bit more. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be back after the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
A&R Week. This year marks the 98th Ag and Natural Resources Week at Michigan State University. A&R Week is one of the largest events of its kind in the entire nation. More than 80 workshops, conferences, meetings, and special events comprise A&R Week. This year, A&R Week will also host the 85th Michigan FFA Convention. For more information, go to anrweek.canr.msu.edu. And welcome back. We are back with Eileen Gianotis. Eileen, welcome back. It's A&R Week time again.
Again, already.
It seems like it's gone really fast.
It has gone really fast this year. But we're back again.
We are, and lots of great things going on again this year.
Absolutely. A&R Week is always one of those weeks that's packed with activities that virtually everyone in your family can find something to like at A&R Week.
Well, and I think too, especially, we always talk on the show about the diversity of Michigan Ag, and when you look at all the programming, I mean, just the guide is a great big huge book.
It is, and it's a great way to kick off Agriculture Month in the state of Michigan. It's lots of fun. It's there are a lot of meetings, association meetings, and events that families can try their hand at to learn a little bit more about. Really, everything is here that has to do with agriculture and natural resources.
Well, and I'm going to have you walk through and kind of hit some of the highlights
Sure.
this year, and then we'll also make sure we put stuff on the website so folks can get there and learn a little bit more.
Right. Our website is actually has all of the information that's in our guide. So if you don't have a guide, you can check out the website. All of the activities and time, dates, and places are in there as well. So A&R Week is March 2nd through the 9th this year, and it's during spring break on campus. So don't worry about parking, because our students will all be in warmer climates. So we'll brave it, hopefully for a little bit of winter in March. But this year, there's the Quiet Water Symposium out at the Pavilion, which is a great opportunity to, just in case you've kind of fallen off your New Year's resolutions, to kind of find some ways to get active and find ways that you can stay active maybe up north, maybe locally, those kinds of things. Boating, quiet waters, so lots of fun, peaceful. Although I don't think that the activity itself is that peaceful, so you can bring your kids.
There you go. Kind of show them what they can do and get you
Absolutely.
geared up for the spring when folks want to get out and about.
Right. So it's lots of fun. There's also a rabbit show that the 4-H kids bring their rabbits to, so that's also a great way to see some animals during A&R Week. And then through the week there are lots of association meetings. There's a beginning birding workshop, so if you're thinking about maybe taking up birding as a hobby, that's a great way to do that, to meet some of the people who are doing it around the state, and to connect with the Michigan Audubon Society. And then there are groups like the beekeepers and the farmers markets, folks who are going to have their big meetings and boot camps, and I think we'll hear a little bit from them later on.
Lots of good activities, lots of things going on. And really there's so much to get out and learn. And I think now is a great time to do that because spring is going to be here. It's time to look at those family opportunities and birding. I haven't really heard it called birding, but that would be a great way to get the family involved.
It is, and it's a good way to get your kids outdoors and to really learn a lot about nature and about the world around you. We talk a lot during A&R Week about learning where our food comes from and teaching kids about agriculture. And this is a good way to teach your kids about natural resources and the resources that are right literally in our backyards.
Well, and I do have to say, we went to a rabbit show. You know, I have a little one. We thought, well, it's at the fairgrounds, it's close, it'd be a good thing to do. We went to a rabbit show, and we ended up adding a bunny to our family at the holidays. So you also need to be aware, because sometimes there are some great connections that are made with the kids and the animals.
There are great connections, and you probably know this already. You're learning this, that it's a great thing for a child to be able to care for a rabbit or an animal and to learn all about all the work that goes into that. You know, I think as parents we roll our eyes and say it's too much work, but that's a good size animal to kind of learn about and learn on and learn with, and to move towards maybe more. Maybe you'll have more.
Yeah, no. One is great, but you are right. I mean, it's a great thing, and you can watch the bond, you can watch them grow. So really, to get kids out and get that ag experience, you never know what that thing is going to be that they just decide, that's for me.
Right, and literally during A&R Week, you're learning from pros, from professionals. There are extension people, there are professionals throughout the state who come together, and they're experts in those areas. So this is really a great place to learn about whether it's rabbits or beekeeping or learning about birds, all those different activities from people who do this all the time and from professionals.
Well, and I think too, if you have like your local 4-H club or a group like that, or even a Kiwanis or Lions or something, if you have the opportunity to go to a program like this, it also gives you those chances to meet people, hear what they have to say, but then to bring some programming back to your local community and say, you know, let's add a rabbit group with our 4-H club, or maybe we're going to add a birdie group, or whatever it is. It gives you that kind of base knowledge to make those decisions.
It does, and a lot of the annual meetings, like the Michigan Barn Preservation Network, they have their annual meeting and they do a barn tour. So it also pushes people to kind of get outside their comfort zone, like you said, and bring something back into their home area.
Good. Well, Eileen, we appreciate it. We want to make sure folks remember March 2 through 9, and we will link with you from the Farm and Garden website, and we want to see people there.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Folks, certainly get out there, learn more about Michigan, learn more about Michigan agriculture. A&R Week is very important to us here in the state of Michigan. Gives us a great opportunity to go ahead and celebrate. I also do want to mention, as we are looking at this week, we also have Wednesday, March 6th, the first annual Michigan Wheat Farmer Winter Meeting for the wheat program. So I'll put up some information on that too, wearing that other hat. But lots of different association meetings, lots of opportunities to get out there and to learn just a little bit more. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And welcome back. We are back with Drew Montry. Drew, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here, and you're with the Michigan Farmers Market Association.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about what that group is, and then we're going to talk about the industry and how it's going.
Yeah, well, the Michigan Farmers Market Association is a statewide member-based association. We work with and for farmers markets and the farmers and small businesses that sell at farmers markets. And you know, we started in 2006. At that time, there were 150 farmers markets here in Michigan, and last year there were 300. So that number has doubled very quickly. And so, you know, we're working to grow the capacity of our association, but also grow the capacity of so many new farmers markets across the state.
Well, and I think that's so important because people are wanting to get more connected. You want to know more about that food. Where does it come from? All the foodie movements. It just makes sense to be able to have that local connection and to be able to go get produce that is so awesome and so fresh.
You're right. I mean, so many communities are interested in having a farmers market if they don't already. Farmers markets are really as unique as the communities in which they function, and so every community can kind of customize a market to its needs. And so we see communities that are really interested in supporting their local economy or promoting downtown businesses, and a farmers market is right for them. We see other communities that are really interested in strengthening their regional food system, and so there's so many benefits, and you know, farmers markets really can be a good fit.
Well, and I want to say too, because I did say produce, but it is so much more than produce.
Right. I mean, at farmers markets, you can definitely get fresh grown fruits and vegetables, but there's such a wide variety of products. You know, meat and cheese, dairy, honey, maple syrup, baked goods, prepared foods ready to eat, and, you know, oftentimes other agricultural products, and even, you know, craft items at some markets. So it can be a really fun shopping experience.
Well, we're always looking for that too. How do we capitalize on that Michigan? And so many people are looking for Michigan and so supportive of Michigan. Now really makes sense to look at that industry and really help it grow.
Right, and you know, it's a cold February day, but spring's right around the corner, and that means farmers market season's right around the corner too, and many markets are preparing for this year's market season.
Well, and I know you guys are going to have some stuff at A&R Week for a meeting and some programming to kind of help some folks get geared up and ready to go, and even folks who've never done it before.
We are. We're having our Michigan Farmers Market Conference held. It's going to be held on Tuesday and Wednesday, March 5th and 6th, on Michigan State's campus in the Plant and Soil Science Building. And it's a 2-day kind of action-packed conference for a wide variety of people involved with farmers markets.
Well, and certainly when you're looking, I know, if you are looking at a farmer's market, trying to get things started, there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that have to be done. So it's nice to have that kind of one-stop shopping, if you will, as to what people need to do.
Right, and we offer a market manager boot camp. This is our 6th year, and that is one of 3 tracks offered at the conference. That's for people that are just getting involved in starting a farmer's market and they need the basic information in terms of operations. And then we also offer an advanced market manager track for people that have been in the industry a little longer and are looking for more in-depth and kind of specific information. And then we also offer a track for farmers and vendors that sell at markets. So there's 3 sessions going on simultaneously throughout the conference. And of course, we know that in this industry, a lot of people wear multiple hats. And so some farmers may also manage a market or run a market. And so, of course, people are welcome to any session which makes the most sense for them. And we often have people that come and go to all 3 tracks throughout the couple days.
Well, and certainly too, as we look at the rising numbers and a doubling since 2006 is huge. I think that means a lot to the economy that there's that much interest and that many opportunities to get out there and sell.
It does. And one of the things that this year we're really lucky to have the Jen O'Brien, who's the Executive Director of the National Farmers Market Coalition. They're joining us to give our keynote and really focusing on Michigan's a leader in the farmers market industry. We rank in the top 5 in number of markets and also a number of markets that are accepting the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program with bridge cards. And Michigan's really kind of setting the stage for some of the things that are happening across the country. And so the National Farmers Market Coalition is going to come and talk about how what our work fits into a national context. So it'll be a really great kickoff to the 2 days.
Well, and I think that's so interesting because, I think sometimes we take for granted, because wherever you go on a trip, wherever you take off on the weekend, there's always a farmer's market. There's always a place you can stop and check it out and do a little shopping and, see what works, or even just munchies for your trip. I think we don't realize that so many other folks just don't have those opportunities and that we're so far ahead of the curve.
You're right. Yeah, and I think that, being ahead of the curve is a great thing, but it also, we have so many lessons that we've learned and are continuing to learn. And so, we can every year get together a network of farmers market stakeholders, and we have roundtables as part of the conference. And that just learning from each other, kind of best practices, what worked well last year, what didn't work well, is really a good place for people to come together. And just not only are there educational sessions where there's professionals, but there's also an opportunity to meet someone else doing the same thing that you're doing and to learn from each other and kind of build those peer relationships, which, that type of support group is just as important as, the educational part of it.
It is, and I think one thing too, especially for folks who aren't in agriculture, I guess on one hand you could say we do kind of compete with each other for markets, but we're so good at building partnerships and helping each other out.
Yeah, I think that some people in the farmers market industry use the word cooperation as being like, yes, we're competitors, but we're also really focused on cooperation, and that's what makes farmers markets so successful, and that we have to be in it together to advance this industry in this sector.
Drew, you said it wonderful. I think that's a great place to wrap it up. We need to work together, folks. We'll put information on the website, but go to MichiganFarmingGarden.com. You can link through. We'll share information with you. You can find out what you need to do to go ahead and get registered. If you're out there in your local community, you have an interest, come to A&R Week and learn more what you can do and how you can start that market in your own local area. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
And welcome back. We are back with Dave Anthony of Anthony Bee Farms. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, I thank you very much for having me here.
It's good to have you here. And on the beekeeping side, you guys have a lot going on too.
Yes, this is A&R Week. The Michigan Beekeepers Association puts together a program for 2 days on March 8th and 9th. We have approximately 20 classes going on for 2 days, each day a different class. They're 45-minute classes, 15-minute classes, open to the public, so we can teach people how to keep beekeeping, and we have vendors that will have bee supplies and equipment for the public out there at this time.
Well, and this is something you've been doing for a long time yourself too.
Yes, I've been doing this commercially for about 25 years, but I've also been teaching around the state of Michigan, and the association is also trying to teach the public and people how to raise bees because of the importance of bees throughout the United States, not just Michigan.
Well, and I think that's so important because the bee industry is huge when we look at Michigan and look across the U.S.
That is very correct. I'm not the smartest man, but Einstein was very smart. He says in 4 years, if we eliminated the honeybees and bees, we would break the human food chain and we have no food to eat.
Wow.
In just 4 years.
Well, and let's talk a little bit just about that for folks who may not know or realize that important part that those bees do play in that food industry.
It's the ideas that food industry is the ideas of a lot of food out there that's we eat and consume constantly. Without the bees pollinating them, there is no crop whatsoever. A good example is this year that California, you got an almond crop out there. We don't have enough bees to pollinate the almonds in California enough of them. So we are trying to migrate bees from point A to B, and we're not keeping up with it anymore because of the problems we've had in beekeeping over the years with the chronic collapse disorders and other diseases and problems in beekeeping.
Well, and I think it's so important because we know that it's a huge impact on the economy. We know that we need those bees. So to be able to go to A&R Week and learn some things that you can just do at your own place if you want to get into beekeeping and kind of have I want to say a family project, I guess, if you will.
Yes, this is one of the biggest things in these classrooms and stuff. We're teaching it to the public as well as other beekeepers. And it's teaching the little kids as well as adults, 4-H, high schools, middle schools. We're teaching the public everything and show you how important it is and how easy it is. It's just as easy to plant a garden. The same thing with beekeeping. It's that easy to raise bees, and it's very important we raise bees.
Well, and you just need to make sure you have the right equipment because I'm sure people think when you think of bees, you think of getting stung and all the things that can happen. So let's just kind of address that a little bit.
Well, the idea is, I lost train of thought, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. But when you're out there and you're looking at, because you do think bees, you don't want to get stung.
Right.
How do you deal with them? But I know there's things you can do, and they're pretty easy to work with.
Yes, bees normally will not sting you, honeybees, because they're not designed to sting you. They sting you for the defense of your hive. Honeybees are one thing. Wasps, hornets, and yellow jackets and stuff like that can sting you repeatedly and doesn't hurt them. Well, the honeybee stings you one time and he dies about 10, 15 minutes later.
Okay.
So that's something we've learned over the years. And like I said, the importance of beekeeping with these classes and stuff, we have special ed students and stuff out there where we're teaching. We had a teacher come in. We're teaching them how to raise bees, and it's made the kids relax, learn to do their school grades and everything a lot better. And it's been very important. We've got garden hives these kids are building up. We're showing them where they can do it as a family project, which is very important, and the families and kids get involved into it. So any age bracket is very good in beekeeping.
Well, and certainly when we look at that, I like as you talk about doing those things with the schools. I know you guys have a competition that's kind of coming up where they're actually kind of bringing in those hives and looking at getting some money for the schools.
Yes, at this time for the start of A&R Week, from the start of it, we're going to have anywhere from 8 to 15 what they call garden hives on display. On March 8th and 9th, they're going to vote on them, which is the best one. All the proceedings that come in on this money-wise or donations is going to be donated back to the school and to these children to help them keep the programs going in the school there and help these kids promote more beekeeping. And what's been nice about the whole program is once one child learns it, he turns around and teaches somebody else. And another child will teach it, or another teacher says, this program, where I didn't know about it, they learn it and they reteach the next person. So it's been a chain reaction. And the schools and the people for the last few years, our programs have been growing rapidly across the United States.
Wonderful. Well, that's what we like to hear. Dave, we appreciate that update. And folks, if you get the opportunity, get out there to A&R Week. A great opportunity, learn more about agriculture, but especially the bee industry when we look at our state. A great way, again, to look at 4-H club involvement, look at some school involvement, really a way to get kids to get some hands-on activities, learn how that works, and especially when you look at bees, that pollination cycle is so important to the fruits that we have here in our state to make sure that we do have that pollination cycle. So folks, get out there, visit the workshops by the association and learn more about Michigan agriculture. Stay tuned, we'll be back right after this message.
This chicken is beak over claw for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one chicken may not be too much to cluck about, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing, our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And welcome back. We are back with Eileen Gianotis. Eileen, welcome back. We're still celebrating A&R Week.
We absolutely are. So we have a blueberry pie recipe this week with Michigan honey. So it's really easy. You do you just do any crust that you're comfortable with, whether it's bought or homemade, and you take 6 tablespoons of flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup of honey, a 1/4 cup of water, and lemon juice, and mix that with your berries. Put it in the filling, pop it in the oven for about 35 minutes at 425, and there you go.
Very, very easy, and you know, you have to say, who doesn't love a good fruit pie, and blueberries are awesome.
Exactly, and you can get most of everything from Michigan.
That
Even
makes
better.
it even better. Folks, if you want to try this recipe, as always, you can visit us online at MichiganFarmandGarden.com, or you can write to Michigan Farm and Garden Recipes, P.O. Box 461, Williamston, Michigan 48895. And if you just want this recipe, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I will go ahead and get it out to you. Otherwise, we'll put you on the list for the big mailings. And Eileen, as we're looking at A&R Week, one of the things we have to talk about when it comes to food is the cheese making.
The artisanal cheese making workshop is March 4th through 6th, and it's widely popular. Usually sells out. I think there are still a couple spots left, but teaches people how to make cheese, and really, who doesn't love cheese?
Exactly. Well, and I think that's one of the things too, and you know, certainly we have the guide, but also I'm going to push people again to go online, get on that site, because there is no way we can go through all the stuff in this book.
Absolutely. There are way too many programs to do in a half-hour show.
So get out there, get some of those experiences. The cheese making, we've talked about that before on the show. Absolutely wonderful. And especially if you're looking at what can you do for gifts or some of those kinds of things, neat things you can do for the holidays too.
Absolutely. And who knows when you'll find one of these classes that becomes your passion, and you may be selling at a farmer's market.
There you go. It all comes together. And two good opportunities when you look at things like honey, just to give you other ideas of ways you can incorporate Michigan into your food. Very easy, and A&R Week will certainly help you out.
Absolutely.
There we go. Eileen, one more time, cost A&R Week?
A&R Week is free.
There we go. Get online, check it out, and I guess we'll see folks there probably, won't we?
Yes, thanks.
Folks, certainly if you get the opportunity, visit us online, MichiganFarmandGarden.com, and check out A&R Week. I will see you back here next weekend. Bye-bye.